Sound check. If you hear birds, that's good. If not, looks very hot. As the hums get quieter and quieter. We should be good now. Are we good now? Please let me know if you've got sound. I'm glad I asked too, if you've got sound and picture. Picture, I think we're good. Sound, tell me about the sound. Good on Twitch. Fantastic. Sounds okay from YouTube. Thanks so much, Mark V. Who have we got? We got Petraz, aka, is that Backpat? Is that supposed to be, is that Bachpat? Is it for people who pronounce back like Bach? You gotta let me know. I saw Ekans in there, Inja's here. Who else have we got here? We got Alex is here. I see you, Alex. I feel like, who's the lady on Romper Room who has the mirror? I see Alex and I see Backpat. Cool. And Omelet's going to be moderating for us. So if anybody's up to shenanigans, please let Omelet know. He's got the boot button. Nice cap. Yeah, I got to talk about this hat. I don't know if I'm going to be wearing this the entire time. I mean, it would be good for a thumbnail, right? But my kid Isabel made this, and it's fit for Isabel's head, which means it's a little bit tight on the old jaw. It's constricting the old windpipe and the ability to flap my yapper, which, as you know, it's all I've got really. So I'm gonna take new sub. I missed it. Who was subbing? I missed it as I was blah blah blahing about not being able to blah blah blah. I'm gonna take oh my gosh, that was like compressing my brain a little bit. I just wanted a little bit of an attract mode for the beginning of the stream. Oh, isn't it hot? Yeah, it's brutal hot. It's brutal hot. Now about those birds. Tell me about those birds. Are they too noisy? If they are, I have the powers to control nature. I'm like a Disney princess, except poor and ugly. So I can definitely tell the birds to shut up a little bit. So let me know if the birds are too loud. What the heck are we even doing? We're playing Everdell today, and that's what it looks like. And I've got a couple of other. So you're going to be able to see most of Everdell. The only bit that you're not going to be able to see is up here. There are different anime poles that you won't be able to see just because I only have so many cameras and I can only set up so many views. But check this out. There's the top of the board, there's the middle of the board, there's the bottom of the board, and that's what my city is going to look like once we start building cards there. And finally, I'm scoring off today against Rugwort, the nasty rat, and this is where Rugwort's stuff is going to go. So I'm not going to be too fastidious about teaching you how to play. I think if you've never played Everdell before, hopefully you'll be able to learn how to play as we chip through this. Sounds good. Luke says, I have the power. Yes, I do have the power. So what I'm going to do first off is I'm going to draw 5 cards, because when you're playing solo, you always start off with 5 cards. 3, 4, 5. And then as usual in any multiplayer game of Everdell, you deal 8 cards to this area called the meadow. 2, 3. Now, I did not go through my deck before this playthrough and weed out all of the expansion cards that are for, Belfair, and I don't know if there are actually any expansion cards for Belfair, but what's it called? Pearlbrook. So if we turn up any Pearlbrook cards, or if I draw any Pearlbrook cards, I'm gonna just chuck them, and we'll just put them in the discard area just down here. So that's what's going to happen if we see any of them. And they're the ones with the little tiny badger in the corner. So this is the meadow. This is the common pool where we'll be building cards from. And the way that Mark V says Rugwort, I hate that guy. I know he's a jerk. And you'll find out how much of a jerk Rugwort is. So Rugwort's going to be represented by these black rat meeples. So Rugwort starts with a black rat meeple blocking the 3 twig space. So already no good. I can't go there. And then Rugwort is going to block this. We're in wintertime right now, and so Rugwort's going to block this sort of common area, but I can access these two. This is kind of a bad draw. This is going to be a very resin-heavy game, or a game where I don't really have to worry about resin, because you get 2 resin and a twig here, and 3 resin here. And then whenever I build something, Rugwort gets to build something, and that's what this die is about. So I'm going to roll this 8-sided die, and if it was 8, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And Rugwort's going to build this card to his city. This is a tableau building game, and we've got 15 slots in order to build cards to our cities, right? So Rugwort's just going to go up here, and the reason why Rugwort doesn't have so much area to build a city is because you don't have to worry really about what Rugwort's cards do or how they array. You just kind of stack them according to color, because up at the top of the board you've got these basic events, and normally you earn them. This one's hidden by the tree a little bit. The City Monument you earn by having 3 blue cards. The Grand Tour you earn by having 3 red cards. Over here, this Harvest Festival, if you've got 4 green cards, you can put you know, a meeple on there and claim that. And over here, the Cartographer's Expedition is 3 Hobo Bindle cards, the sort of brown cards, and you can grab that. Now, what Rugwort's going to do is when I decide to move on to the next season, if I'm kind of like out of meeples to place or out of cards to build, I'll choose to go from winter to spring, spring to summer, summer to fall. And that's when Rugwort is also going to change seasons. And if Rugwort has cards stacked up to the effect that he should be able to claim one of those basic events, and I haven't claimed it already, he'll claim the event and he'll get the 3 points for it. So that's one thing to watch out for when you're playing against Rugwort solo. The other thing that happens is anytime that I build an element in my city down here, Rugwort is going to build an element in the city. So I showed that with the die rolling, and then after we change seasons, Rugwort's rat is going to move here, and then when I change seasons again, Rugwort's rat is going to move here, and then finally in autumn, Rugwort's rat is going to go down here on the journey space, on the 3-point journey space. So an automatic 3 points at the end of the game if I haven't taken that spot. I don't know, actually I don't know if I'm allowed to take that spot away from Rugwort. Like if I get some, no, right, because it happens immediately. This is only available in autumn, so Rugwort automatically goes there, so I won't be able to take that spot because those spots are exclusive. Cool. So Rugwort's going to start up here. The other thing that's going on with scoring, Rugwort earns 3 points per card at the end of the game, and 4 points if it's a purple card, so more for the sort of royal or fancier cards. And then Rugwort is also going to gain 3 points for every event that I don't get. So I guess focus on the events, right? This is the first time, this is only my 3rd ever game that I've played solo, my 3rd ever solo board game. And if you're following the channel, you might have seen the first one or the second one. I played Tiny Epic Galaxies, and I played Long Shot the Dice game. I picked both of those because they were relatively simple, and they had a small profile on the table. And I just got a shout out to Rado, because I don't think I would have been able to figure out how to even set any of this up without his tutelage. He clued me into the fact that if you get an 8K camera, you can create a bunch of scenes that sort of move around the board, and that's why I'm able to do this, this, and this. Very cool. Cool. Birds sound okay, sound good. All right, here we go. So let's take a look. The one thing that I didn't figure out is sort of where to put my cards so that you can see them, but I guess I can hold them out like this. So already I have the fairy card, which I'm going to discard because we're not using Pearlbrook cards. So I'm going to draw 1 card to replace that. Neat. So what I have is a farm. It costs 2 twigs and a resin. I have the ruins, which lets me scrap a card that's in my city and take the resources back for it and draw 2 cards. I've got the Bard. I can discard up to 5 cards to gain a point each for them. And I have the Skirble Stadium. So this is a card in a pack called Extra Extra, I believe. That's what the little bell is for. So this is sort of an expansion or mini expansion card, but I kept them in there because they're not going to mess anything up too badly. Name a non-green card in color and draw 4 cards. If any of the drawn cards match the named color, you gain 3. So it's a bit of a gamble. You gain 3 points. So you got to place somebody there to do that. It's open, but Rugwort's not going to be playing on any of my cards, so I don't have to worry about that. And finally, the Twig Barge. that's gain 2 twigs, which might be very, very good, at least in the first round, because as I said, Rugwort is blocking this 3 twig spot. I will be playing with, there's a couple of fancy things going on the table here. I hope you noticed. These, check these out. Again, if you watch the channel regularly, you'll notice that I have a series called Bits Please, and that's where, and I wish right now that I had it rigged up so I could hit a button and it would scream at you with the logo. But I'll work on that for future. But these are cool little walnut resources. And if you want to see me putting those together, I didn't design them, but I printed them out on my resin printer and I painted them. So if you want to see that process, go seek out the Bits Please episode. So that doesn't come standard with the game. And then over here, a couple of upgraded components. These are metal points coins, and these are wooden doors for daisy chaining critters into the city. Very cool. And then over on my city, these things I've just put here so that I know how to frame a 15 card tableau. These are my lizards. I forget which expansion they come in, but I definitely play the lizards any chance I get because look how adorable they are. And these things are from Belfair. So just in case you're wondering. Q-Sting roll VTL. Yeah, is that the command that I would give to whoever would be helping me in an ideal world when I had help to say, go, Bits please, scream it. Here we go. Okay, great. This is a really tight game off the top round because you only have 2 workers to place. And one of the things going on is when you transition into the next season after you have nothing to do, all of the cards that you've built that have green on them fire off and they give you stuff. So I really like the challenge off the top of this game to try to get 1 green card out of my city. That's always my first thing. I have a farm, and here's why that's important. Because up here at the top of the board, up on the tree, there are 4 different event cards. These are big event cards. And they're harder to get, and they all have a they have a prerequisite on them. So the prerequisite on this one is if I've got 4 blue cards in my city, and if I pay a stone and put a guy there, it's all very expensive, then I commission some statues and get 6 points. If I don't do this by the end of the game, Rugwort gets 3 points. Terrible. Over here, if I have the wood carver and the chapel, and I place a guy here and I take this, it's the pristine chapel ceiling. So when I achieve this, I draw a card and receive 1 resource of any type for each point on my chapel. And I believe that the chapel, when you build it, you put points on it. That's the deal with that. And then 2 points for each point on your chapel. So I'm going to have to keep a lookout for the chapel if it comes up. Over here, I'm going to make sure it's not in the meadow. No, it's not in the meadow right now. Here, if I've got the doctor and the postal pigeon, it's the flying doctor service. I love how thematic these events are. Get 3 points for each husband and wife pair in every city. And that's important because the husband and wife like to live on the farm. Each construction has a critter that prefers the construction, and the husband and wife like to live there. But look at all the cards you'd have to do to get that. You'd have to have a farm. Well, not necessarily. You'd have to have a husband and a wife. You don't always need the building to get the critter in there. You can pay berries to get the critter into your city. But I really like daisy chaining critters in there for free by building the thing that they like to have. So you need the doctor, who's expensive, the postal pigeon, who's useless mostly, and a farm and a husband and a wife to make good on that. But it's potentially big bank points if you're able to pull all that off. Finally, if you've got 4 hobo bindles, put a guy there and you build the King's Road for 6 points. Okay. All right. Who's asking that? I guess, is that Stacy? Stacy Everdell? Sorry, your name's a little bit dark, Stacy, so I can't quite see it against the blue of my background. Stacy's asking, can any of you see me in chat? I can see you in chat, Stacy. Does it say Stacy or Steve? I hope it says Stacy. Stacy Everdell. I'm hoping that if your name is Stacy Everdell, you quite like Everdell, and that's why you're here. I quite like Everdell too. And you knew this was coming. I don't like Starling games. I don't like them at all. And if you're interested in Everdell, I can't endorse it because I don't think they deserve any of your money. They like your money. They don't like you. So if you can buy it used, or better yet, locate where the Starling Games warehouse is, break in and steal a copy. That's probably your best bet. Anyway, on to Everdell. Here we go. Yeah, let's check out the metal cards, which are also buildable by me. And as we go across and Rugwort gets more workers in each season, Rugwort's workers will block these top 4 cards. So I should pay extra attention to these because they're going to be unavailable as we go. We've got the Storehouse, interesting, and the Storehouse likes the Wood Carver, and this card needs the Wood Carver, so there's an interesting strategy potential there. We've got the Innkeeper, who kind of side loads a more expensive critter into your city. I really like the Wanderer because he doesn't take up spot in your city. I adore the Dungeon, especially because whenever I play this game, there's one mean card in the base game called the Fool, and he's a skunk and he sucks, and he's worth -2 points. And one time I foisted him, I unleashed him on my friend Pammers, and Pam got a little upset by that, and so now she brings it up to this day, and I think it was like 2 years ago that happened. So when we were playing Everdell the other night, Cheryl skunked me and then sent an image to Pam and said, "You've been avenged." So hopefully that's the end of it. Why was I mentioning the skunk? I don't even know. Oh yes, because I really like the Dungeon, because the Dungeon allows you to put critters in prison and sort of get them out of your... So if you get skunked, the Dungeon is great. Or if you have a low value critter who stinks and you're able to get the Ranger and unlock a second spot, then the Dungeon is awesome. Down here, the Undertaker is really good too. That'll churn up the meadow a little bit, and the Cemetery that goes with the Undertaker is also an excellent card. The Fairgrounds is what you need to get the skunk in there. So I don't think this Fairgrounds is going to be all that useful to me. Can I skunk Rugwort? That's a great question. The Chip Sweep, activate 1 greeny thing in your city, and the Mine, gain 1 stone. That's an excellent card because stone's kind of like the premium resource. If we look up at the resources at the top of the table, wood, and you can kind of tell too, if you ever played a board game, you're wondering what the cheap resource is. Look for the one that has the most stuff in it. So the most stone, that's the cheapest. And then the fewest resources are these, twigs, the most prolific, the most plentiful. And then only a couple of stone, berries for getting critters. So this is the one that I tend to gravitate towards. All right, are we gonna play yet? Yeah, I hope so. Here we go. It's a lot to think about, right? Oh, Hamakdaisu is saying that the delay between messages in the stream seems really good. I don't always look up and see your messages, so the delay might actually be me just like not noticing. So boom, hey Hamakdaisu, I just saw that post. So, and Mikey B, I just saw your thing. So let's see what the delay is there. The chat display in the stream is mixing input from YouTube and Twitch. If you're only using Twitch, you won't see the YouTube comments and vice versa. But you can see every comment embedded in the video. It's a bit confusing, but you'll get used to it. Thanks, Mikey B, for letting people know that. Yeah, so I'm using a tool called Restream.io that beams this out to 3 different platforms. Sounds like Twitch is only showing Twitch comments, so you're wondering where all these other people are on the side of the stream. Well, they're chipping in from YouTube and from Facebook. That's what's going on. Back to it. I think of all these cards. The Twig Barge is a really good starter card, and the Mine is as well. But since I only have two lizards to start with, it would be challenging to get all 3 cards that I need for the Mine, because there's no... Oh, actually, you know what? 2 resin and a twig would do it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go... I really like the Mine. Gosh darn it. I really like the Mine. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to go here, and I'm going to get 2 resin and a twig. And I'm going to put them... I guess I'll put them... Let's see them if they're here, right? And then I'm going to... I guess I just get to go again. So I'm going to go to Stoneland up here and take a stone. Is that the best thing? There's no critter to get in there if I do this. But I'm going to do it. Yeah, because I don't have to worry about resin in the next season when I switch over, because there's gobs of resin all over. So yeah, I'm going to get that stone. There we go. And now for my next trick, I am going to purchase the Mine. So I'm going to pay blam blam blam, and doop ba doop ba doop, and take the Mine and put it in here. So the mine gets me 1 stone. Here we go, there's 1 stone. And a lot of switching. There we go. So I got a resin and a stone left over. So Stacy says, I don't think you can skunk Rugwort. Per rules, when placing cards in Rugwort's tableau, the card's ability and point values don't matter. Yeah, so if the point value on the skunk is -2, then it wouldn't take effect. So yeah, this Fairgrounds card here is completely ignorable, I think, unless I wanted to build it later on for the points. So we replenish the meadow is the first step, and because I built a card, now we have to roll the die because Rugwort gets to build a card. So it's going to be one of these 8, and it's number 5. So Rugwort builds the Undertaker. So the point doesn't matter. This is going to be worth 3 points. Is it 2 points or 3 points? It's one of those two. X amount of points to Rugwort at the end of the game, and it's just going to go up. We're going to just stuff it up here in stacks according to color. So that's what that's going to do. So Rugwort has 1 bindle, and then we're going to replace this with the Teacher, one of my least favorite cards. I have nothing against teachers, but I just don't like it. But it's interesting because some of these powers don't really matter anymore when you're playing solo. The Teacher says, draw 2 cards, keep 1, and give the other to an opponent. So it kind of doesn't matter if I give that card to Rugwort, really, does it? Because Rugwort's not going to be able to use it. So maybe the Teacher isn't so bad in solo mode. We'll see. 3 points, thank you, for prosperity cards, and 2 points for every other card. Thanks so much, Stacy. Yeah, it's funny, DGMockV thought Stacy was called Steve, and I did too, because it's hard to see the red on the blue. Here we go. So that means that I'm completely out of people to place. I have no more lizards. I do have a stone, and I do have a resin. So I'm looking to see if there's anything else that I can build, and I don't think there is. No. So I might have planned that a little bit better. No, nothing. So what I'm going to do is move on to the next season, which makes it a little bit nervous. So to do that, you take all your stuff back. So my lizards are going back home. There's a song about that, isn't there? A folk song? The lizards are going home. No, there's not. I just made that up. There they go. They're back. And if I can remember everything, and if I forget something, please let me know. The next thing that happens is that Rugwort's rat moves down and blocks this space. And the next thing that happens is Rugwort's rat moves over and blocks the double resin space. And then Rugwort gets a rat and it blocks the storehouse, so I can't build the storehouse. But Rugwort can build the storehouse. So if I roll a 1, then Rugwort definitely is going to build the storehouse. So those are that's off limits to me, but not to Rugwort. I got to keep that in mind. Like if I want any of these, I got to build them before he gets to them. And then I get another lizard, and all of my green buildings fire off, and I have 1 green building, and it gets me a stone. So I'm going to take a stone, and I'm going to put it here. Ha! Did I forget anything? I hope not. Please let me know in chat if I did. Thanks, Stacy. If required to give opponents cards or resources, discard them instead. So if we did have the Teacher and we drew it and we drew a couple of cards, Rugwort would get squat. Take that, Rugwort. All right, back to it. I kind of feel like I have a dearth of cards here. Man, this really relies on good cards off the start. What do I have? I've had 2 stone and a resin. And this is what I'm working with here. 2 stone and a resin. The wood spot is now freed up. Rugwort's not there anymore, so I can go there if I want to. And activate 2 green cards in your city is freed up, which is a very interesting card. That's an extra card, so it's part of that extra pack. For 2 stone and a resin, I could build the dungeon. It's unfortunately worth 0 points, but when playing a construction or a critter, you can place a critter from your city face down beneath this dungeon to decrease the cost by 3 resources. That's going to be good for later, even though I have the resources to build it right now. What I really could use, honestly, are cards, but there aren't a whole lot of card spaces on the board because I don't want to build many of these things. This is useless to me early on in the game. Maybe I should have been a bit more aggressive about getting that storehouse. That's not a bad start card. And I wonder if Stacy's just sitting there going, no, you lost the game when you didn't buy the storehouse. So just for the sake of getting more options into my hand, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a lizard. Stacy's saying mum on that, but I have a feeling Stacy's thinking, yeah, you should have bought the storehouse. The birds tweeting are a nice touch. Why, thank you. I legit had to mute and make sure it wasn't birds outside my window. No, it's not real birds. It's fake birds, and they were recorded who knows when, and they're probably all dead now. Here we go, drawing a card, 2 cards, because I played here, and I get a point. So let me get that point. And yes, excellent. So the 2 new cards are the Clock Tower and the Crane. The Crane is one of my absolute favorite cards, because after you build it later on, you can swap it and get a 3 resource discount on any construction that you want to build. It's excellent, it rules, and it likes the Architect Beaver character. Over here, the Clock Tower, I don't really like that much. I know other people play it, but when you play it, you put 3 points on it, and then every single time you switch season, you take, optionally, you take a point off in order to activate a spot that one of your meeples was on. I don't really like, I played it, last time I played it a couple nights ago, I played the Clock Tower. I didn't find it that good. If you don't get it out right at the beginning, like the idea is if you don't spend those points, it's worth 3 points at the end of the game. But I think that the value in it is better if you're able to use all 3 of those points when you switch seasons. So if you build it in the second season, I'm in summer now, sorry, I'm in spring now. If you build it in the second season, then you've missed out on one opportunity to juice a point for whatever's going on the board. So that's why I'm not huge on it. I would be more bullish on it if I saw a bat or the historian on the board, but I don't. But I super duper like the Crane, except that I don't know what I would build with the Crane. My options here are pretty limited. And you never want to, you'd never want to, I wouldn't want to build the Twig Barge with the Crane because that only costs 2 resources. And the Crane gives you a 3 resource discount. So, the Skirble Stadium is interesting. Name a non-green card color and draw 4 cards. If any of the drawn cards match the named color, you gain 3 points. Oh, so you don't even get the card, you just get 3 points. It's tricky. It's tricky, right? What would you do? What? We turn it back on the audience. What would you build? What would you do? Just reminding you that this major event, man, it would be really killer if I was able to pull this off with a farm and a big pile of husbands and wives, but I just don't know that the meadow is going to churn enough to make that even possible with so few players in the game. In fact, there's only 1 player in the game. So I don't know about that. Keep the Crane, so Stacy suggests keeping the Crane long enough in my city to grab the city monument basic event. Is that what you like to do? Over here, up here at the top of the screen, we've got the city monument. So if you have, here it is, hello peekaboo. So if you have 3 blue cards in here, yeah, you know what, I like the Crane so much, I think it's probably a good idea to build the Crane. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend 1 of my stone, I'm going to build the Crane. So that was my turn. And now that I have built the Crane, Rugwort gets to build something. So 2, I'm going to build the Innkeeper. So up here in Rugwort land, that's a blue card next to a brown card. The points don't matter, just like whose line is it anyway. And we're going to replace that with another card. It's another Wanderer, not so great. Okay. I think I've been deprived of wood long enough, so I think it's probably a good idea. Man, what am I going to do with all that wood, though? What you going to do with all that wood? Okay, well, here we go. So I'm going to take one of my lizards, and I'm going to go to the... Oh, 2 wood in a card seems even better. And your hand limit is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, DJ Mockv, good point. If I build, Rugwort builds, and that turns the meadow a little bit more. I forget that. So I'm going to get 2 twigs and a card just for the sake of getting a card in. So let's put the 2 twigs over in the resource area, and the card is going to be the Judge, an excellent card. An excellent card, but so many critters and not enough constructions. The Judge likes the courthouse and will come in for free if you built the courthouse. And you get to swap a single resource cost when you build the anything when you've got the judge out. Very good card, but man, I just have not enough construction options so far. So I'm gonna build what I can. So here I'm gonna build the twig barge for a wood and a stone. There we go. And the twig barge says that I can gain, what's 2 twigs. Okay, so 2 twigs. There they are. Here comes the judge. The stadium is great when you start getting Skirble champions, since they share space with one another. Yeah, the Skirble champions are awesome. They stack with this card here, Skirble Stadium. But it's kind of like a... It's interesting because the more expansions you get, and I told you I'm weeding out the Pearlbrook cards, but the more expansions you get, the higher the stack of draw cards goes, and then the lower the chances of you actually pulling Skirble champions. So the Skirble champion is sort of like a set collecting kind of thing. You have a limited number of buildings you can actually put in your city, so you can only go up to 15. And so space comes at a premium towards the end of the game. But if you got Skirble champions, or if you have the husband and wife living together, or if you have the Wanderer, these guys, they don't take up a spot. So that's how you... thank you very much for the reminder. Now Rugwort builds. Good one. So it's Rugwort time. Here we go, rolling the dice. The die. It's a 7. It's a 7. So the chip sweep goes up to Rugwort's area. Yeah, please do remind me to do that, because conveniently I forget to do what the robot player does. I'm just like, no, I guess the robot player doesn't get to do anything or beat me at this game. Here we go. We're going well so far, I think. It's okay. And then a new card comes out to the meadow. What is it? It's the wife. Ooh, so that's great, because now that plays into my my little plan, because my little plan next was to build the, of course, the farm. The farm costs 2 twigs and a resin, and I have 2 twigs and a resin. There's my resin, there's my 2 twigs. I'm going to build the farm. And the farm says gain 1 berry. That's the first berry that I have had all game. Shazam. Looking good. Yeah, good job keeping me honest. I agree. And I remembered, now Rugwort gets to roll. What does Rugwort build? Better not be the wife. 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Thank God it's the fairgrounds. So up here, now Rugwort has 2 green cards. It's kind of a warpy view. It's a little hazy up there too, because it's closer to the light. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Let's replace the meadow card. Bang, it's another innkeeper. What happened? I think there's an innkeeper there. Oh yeah, he built the innkeeper. Okay, cool. Well then, my turn. Yeah, still got the farm, DJ Mockv. And of course, the farm likes the husband or the wife, and the wife is in the meadow, so I'm going to build the wife. Sounds weird. I'm going to build the wife. She'll be perfect. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the wife. And then whenever you use a building to daisy chain in a critter for free, you have to put a little door on the building so the door is locked. And a common thing that people mistake, let's get the rules gremlin out here. A common, I think, mistake that people make, there he is, whoa, is that they think that if they've got a farm, they can put the wife in the farm and then they're able to get the husband into the same farm. But if you want to daisy chain the husband in, the husband actually needs his own farm. So you can't double dip on the farm. You need a separate farm for the husband and for the wife. So there's my wife farm. So I would need a husband farm if I wanted to get the husband in there for free and not paying any berries for him. All right. Stacy's fond of using the creepy theatrical mask emoji. I think that's good. I don't know. It's another teacher. Oh, balls. All right. Okay. And now, because I daisy chained the wife in, that counts as playing a card, right? So I assume that since I played a card, Rugwort gets to play a card. So yeah, Stacy, you're right. Yeah, you have to pay for the husband. So either you need a separate farm to daisy chain the husband in, or you have to pay berries to feed him to come to your city. But once he's in, he doesn't take up one of those 15 spots. He can live with the wife. Very good. All right, Rugwort builds, DJ Mockv says. I trust you. I'll do what you say. It's an 8. Oh, look at that. He's taking the postal pigeon away from me. If we go back up to the top of the board, remember, the Doctor and the Postal Pigeon are crucial to getting this event. And we should take a look at how common. Now, the Postal Pigeon is an extremely common card. There are different frequencies of these cards, and I played about like 10 times this game, and I didn't notice it myself until somebody actually pointed it out, that on each of the cards there's this little root section here, and there are tally marks on the root, and the tally marks indicate the frequency of the cards in the deck. Holy cow. So the Postal Pigeon has a 3, so there's at least a few Postal Pigeons. I don't know if it's 1-to-1. I don't know if 3 ticks means there's 3 Postal Pigeons, but there's a few in there. So back to Rugwort. So that means that Rugwort now has 2 bindles out of the 3 bindles that Rugwort needs to be able to claim the Cartographer's Expedition and get 3 points for it at the end of the game. Dicey. Now down to... Postal Pigeon is generally bad unless you have a way to trash him later. Yeah, I agree. The Postal Pigeon stinks. What does the Postal Pigeon do? Let's take a look. I ignore, you know, the cards that I don't like, I kind of ignore what they do, and then in successive games I forget what they're even there for. But the Postal Pigeon, you reveal 2 cards, and if one of them is worth 3 points or less, you can play it and then discard the other card. It's like the Skirble Stadium. It's a little bit of gambling, but it's less specific, I think, than the Skirble Stadium. Here we are. It's another farm, but let's check out my resources. I only have a twig, a point, and a berry. The points really, like, we should put the points over here because they're not spendable. Yes. Yeah, DJ Muck V, yeah, that root, it's really hard. It's really hard to see. Back to my cards. I don't know, like, would you build the Skirble Stadium? To remind you, the Skirble Stadium, you got to build it, so you got to pay the cost, and you have to put a guy there, and, you know, meeples are at a premium. And then you sort of, like, name any colored card that isn't green, and you draw 4 cards, and if one of them is that color, then you get 3 points. So, and of course, points you can't spend, but points help you beat Rugwort. I don't know, give me your thoughts on the Skirble Stadium. Again, I'm not liking any of these cards very much at all, and that's my only construction, so except for the ruins, but I don't want to trash. I could build the Skirble Stadium for free using the crane. Check that out, right? Because the crane gives you a 3-point discount. But Stacy, who seems to know her Everdell very well, suggests that I keep that around. Also, as far as events go, I have 1, 2, 3 green cards. If I get a 4th green card, then I'll be able to get this guy over here, the Harvest Festival event, and take it away from Rugwort. But is Rugwort anywhere near getting that? Rugwort only has, Rugwort has 2 green cards, so Rugwort's halfway there, so maybe that's an idea. Yeah, Stacy says, I think it's a crapshoot for the Skirble Stadium. I agree. If there were Skirble champions out on the board, then I would consider it. But I think that getting this farm out would be a really good idea. A really good idea. And didn't I have the twig barge? Oh no, I had the mine, yeah, and the twig barge. Right, it's the barge toad. Is it the barge toad that goes with the twig barge who gives you more credit for farms that you have on your in your city? I'm not sure. But another option here, check this out. Activate 2 green cards in your city. And I have a bunch of green cards in my city. I would get a stone. Oh man, why wouldn't I do that? I could get a stone and 2 twigs doing that. That's very good. So yeah, okay. That sounds like a good plan to me. I'll take one of these guys and I'll put it here. And I will get a stone and 2 twigs. I think that's a pretty good deal. And then all I need in order to build that farm is a resin, and resin is very, very easy to come by. So I would just have to go here to get 3 resin, but I'm hard up for cards too. I really want cards. So, oh no, and I'm out of dudes. Am I out of dudes? Where'd my 3rd dude go? Where'd my dudes? 1, 2, oh no! Oh, I made a mistake. I made a terrible mistake. If I do that, I won't be able to do anything. I don't want to not do anything. It might be walk it back time. there's just not enough constructions to build. Should I walk that back? A stone and 2 twigs for one guy when really, let's take a look at it. If I didn't have that, I would only have a twig. And I'm looking to build the farm, so I need 2 resin. I'm going to, and I can do this because I'm playing solo, damn it. And I'm not going to annoy anybody at the table, except you guys. Take a little break. Take a little break and tell me what you would do. Would you walk that back? Stacy asks, what's in my hand? Stacy, the same crummy cards that I had from the beginning. The Ruins, which I'm not going to do anything with at the moment quite yet. The Judge, the Clock Tower, which I'm not super bullish on. 3 twigs and a stone. The Bard, which lets me get rid of cards and gain points, but then I would have no cards, so that's a bad plan. And then the Skirble Stadium. So I'm going to put these back. Sorry that that camera is bouncing. I think I'll put it on its own tripod next time so it's not so bouncy-rooney. So I put the resources back, and so I freed this guy up again. What I'm looking for is... Oh no, all right, that was the whole problem. I would need 1 twig and a resin in order to build the farm, and there's nowhere on the board that I can get 1 twig and resin except for where Butt Munch over here is parked. So that's why this seems really attractive. It's either twigs or resins, but not the both. Yeah, never go solo, take a Wookiee. Here's super nerd stuff, Charity Board Gamer. Charity Board Gamer, by the way, are you Chris? Is that Chris G? Let me identify yourself, Charity Board Gamer. I think we all know who you are, if you are. Yeah, never. And by the way, would Chris Goodlet know that Wookiee spelled with an extra E? If you are Chris, tell me you know how to spell Wookiee. It's pedantic nerd nonsense. Okay. Oh, this is a tough one. This is a really tough one. I don't know what to do. Okay, contingency plan. Let's just put this guy like right smack dab in the middle of the board. This is very attractive to me because it gets me a card and I'm super hurting for cards. And also this. So either a resin in a card or a berry in a card. So... Oh no, that's a bad plan. I could also go to the Haven down here, which allows me every 2 cards I discard, and they all stink, I can get a resource. But that's super dangerous because I don't really have a great mechanism to build my hand back up full of other cards. So I don't know that that's a great option. But these 2 options are what I'm currently weighing. So if I did this, I would have a resin and a twig. If I did this, I would have 2 berries to spend on critters. So with a resin and a twig, I could build nothing in my hand, resin and twig, but and nothing, and I could build absolutely nothing. Yes, I am about to get 2 metal cards when I change season. That's true. Stacy's already anticipating that I'm changing seasons. When I play Everdell, I coach people too. When they're playing for the first time, I say the whole thrust of this game. It is Chris G. Hi, Chris G. Thanks for joining us. I should have warned you not to, but here we go. It's actually, I think it's going a little bit better than certainly my first solo playthrough. And I'm brand new to live streaming, and I know you're old hat at it, so it's a privilege to have you here. Chris, by the way, check out, if you don't know the Charity Board Gamer, Chris streams all the time and makes money on the streams and then gives that money to needy people. And I don't do that because I feel I am a needy people. So maybe Chris can do a nice around the table. But no, that's horrible. Chris gives the money to people who are actually hungry. I'm not hungry. I'm just a little bit peckish. What am I talking about? Right, back to, yes, when I coach people and tell them how to play Everdell, I tell them it's a game about procrastination. I say that I think the best strategy is to do whatever you can, even if you're building cards that you kind of don't like. If you can just get them out, just to stretch your turn out longer, because it means you're still hanging in there like the cat on the tree on the motivational calendar. You're still hanging in there, and it might mean that somebody else churns a card in the meadow that you're then able to build for free based on what you've got going on in your city. And I love that. I think that's great. And then if you wind up, just trying to hang in there and building a bunch of garbage cards that you didn't want to begin with, that's why we have cards like the Dungeon. And that's why we can scrap things. We can put people in prison. We've got the Ruins. I have the Ruins card in my hand right here. That's how you can get rid of something in your city. So there are options is what I'm saying. And the University is another card that lets you place somebody there and toss something out of your city. Why did I mention that? Right, because Stacy seems to be advocating that I go on to the next season, and I don't wanna. Yeah, Stacy would go for the activate your green cards. That's what I originally did. Stacy, if you went for the activate your green cards spot, are those the 2 green cards that you would go for? This is gain a berry, just in case you can't see it. That's gain 2 twigs, and that's gain 1 stone. I won't be able to build anything else, but it will put 3 resources in my hand. And at the same token, resin, if I go here, it'll also put 3 resources in my hand, but I don't know. Resin is the kind of thing where like nothing costs 3 resin. It's just kind of like stuck in there as a like an afterthought cost. It's everything's only like 1 or 2 resin. That's kind of sort of slipped in there. Wood and stone are the more common building resources. Resin kind of glues them all together. Stacy says, true. She's had games where she's had too much in her tableau early on and then no room for higher point cards. You can build with more resources gained along the way. True. Fair and true. I have messed up. I took this guy from the wrong spot when I walked it back. Was he here? I think he was here. Oh, look, it's Cheryl making an off-camera appearance on the stream. Hello, everybody wave to Cheryl. She's over there behind the camera. Maybe she'll just poke her head in for a second. Wouldn't that be a nice surprise? All right, here we are. Go for the activate your green cards. Yes, everybody's saying it, so we'll do it. Everybody's saying it. That's 2 twigs and a stone that are going into my area. And that means that I'm going to have to... Cheryl, do you want to pop your head in and say hello to the nice people? Who wants to see Cheryl?
How can I do that?
She exists. You have to like come over here and then like stick your head. What you don't see outside the bounds of the cameras are the 8 million cables and the like OSHA workplace hazard danger situation. Let's see if she can you come? Here she comes. Ah! Look, they're saying hi.
So awkward.
Yeah, thank you. Bye. All right. Oh, look, they're all saying, Mikey B says hi. All right.
Hi, everybody. Is it fun?
Yeah, it's tough, man. I'm fortunate because a lot of people know the game really well, and one chatter, Stacy, who has Everdell in presumably her handle, is being a great coach for it too. I've never played it solo, right? I've only tried to kick other people's butts, right? But it's tough. There's a lot. There's not very much churn in the meadow, right? These cards don't flip over a whole bunch. They only flip when you build something, and then Rugwort gets to build something. So there's Rugwort's cards.
I see.
These are my cards over here.
Okay.
Tricky. I don't know. Go watch this. Go watch the stream. It's live right now.
No, back to work. Back to work.
Back to work. Back to work. All right. Here we go. Chris G says hello. All right. So yes, I do think I'm going to have to go on to the next season. And what are the ramifications of that? Well, that means that I have to take these 3 dudes back. And they go in here. And it also means that, okay, help me remember. Rugwort, let's see if Rugwort satisfies any of the conditions to get a basic event. So it needs 3 bindles and only has 2. Only has 1 blue and needs 3. Needs 4 of these, only has 2. So thankfully, Rugwort doesn't earn any of these basic events up here. So that's good. But then Rugwort's rat moves over here, and then this one goes counterclockwise up here to the resin spot. So 3 resin is not available anymore. Rugwort gets another Meeple, which goes boom here and blocks the Wanderer, and that's no big deal. And then, oh, Chris, you've never played Everdell solo, or you've never played Everdell ever? That would be fascinating to me if you've never played it, because you seem to be a guy who's playing like games every second of the day. And finally, I get 1 more lizard to work with, so I have 4 lizards. So some fun now. Here we go. Here we go. Chris says he thinks I'm doing well, but I wouldn't put money on it. Here's what we're learning through these playthroughs. It's only been a couple, Chris, but the good money is not on Ryan. Always bet on the house. I'm new to solo gaming. I stink at it. I'm not very good at all. I don't focus on the right things. But I think that with this one, at the very least, if I'm able to build 1 more green card, I'm going to be able to get the top of the board. There we go. We're going to be able to get this one right here, which requires 4 green cards, and at least deprive Rugwort of 3 points at the end of the game. Here we are. Does anything else happen? Yes, it does. I get 2 cards for the meadow. Thank God I remembered. So the 2 cards that I want are as follows. I'm going to take the farm, and I'm going to take, and I'm pretty sure that I can't take the ones that have Rugwort's dudes on them. Otherwise, I would take the storehouse. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think those are still off limits to me now. And I can't take the Wanderer, but there's another one out, so no big. And I like the dungeon, but let's check on my hand limit. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm good to take them. This is an interesting game where the hand limit is called a hard hand limit, which means that if you have the hand limit of 8 cards and it says draw a card, it bounces. You don't even get to look at it. Like, it bounces right off you and goes into the discard pile. You don't get to like take it into your hand and then discard something else so that you're back down to 8. It just like glances right off you like you're Teflon. Great. Never played it ever. Wow, that's amazing to me. Such a popular game. It's my favorite game from my least favorite publisher on the planet. And you gotta understand, I don't badmouth any publisher. I'm nice to everybody, except these guys. And it kills me to promote their game more inadvertently. It's awful. The Shepherd and the Shopkeeper. Is the Shepherd one of the important ones that we need to get one of these events up top? No. Whoops. Definitely no, because it's fallen. Woodcarver and Chapel. That's what I'm thinking of. I got confused with this one. It requires the Chapel, and the Chapel likes the Shepherd. So that's what's going on with that. And just to refresh my memory, this is for 4 blue cards. Which Rugwort is racing me towards? No, he's only got 1, and I have only 1 as well. I have to remember that the crane is there. But again, so few constructions out on the board that you know, it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tough. What's wrong with the publisher? I've mentioned it. If you go watch the Bits Please episode where I put these things together, I spend a good long time mentioning what's wrong with the publisher. But just generally, I just get the feeling like, and I was a customer of theirs before I was doing any board game stuff as a host on YouTube and Twitch and stuff. I just get the sense from my dealings with them and a couple of interactions that they love selling board games and making money, which, great, it's a business, sure, why wouldn't you? But they're not so big on the customer service aspect or caring about what customers think or feel or how they're treated. So just one really quick anecdote. For example, the kind of thing that Starling Games, aka Game Salute, and it's changed names a bunch of times, people say because they want to put bad PR behind them. So when I backed Alien Frontiers 4th edition, it took them a really long, unexpectedly long time to fulfill that. And before they had even begun to fulfill it, they put up a Kickstarter campaign for an expansion. It's kind of tacky, you know what I mean? And it's kind of, I call it customer hostile behavior, because it doesn't really take the wishes, desires. It's not really respectful to customers. I worked for a company one time that treated Kickstarter really similarly. They treat Kickstarter like this big piggy bank, and they run campaigns and they're like, oh man, this is amazing. We get all this huge influx of capital right now. We get all this money. But then when it comes to actually fulfilling the promises of the Kickstarter, the company that I worked for, I'm not saying that this is Starling's problem necessarily, but the company that I worked for thought, we don't have to fulfill that exactly like we promised, or exactly when we promised, or exactly to the degree that we promised. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, money now, we chomp, chomp, chomp. And then when it actually comes to fulfilling your end of the bargain, you kind of, chintz out, or you're a cheapskate about it. So I feel like there's a similar attitude going on with certain companies, Starling being one of them, unfortunately. Back to this. Back to happy things, back to birds and forest and cards and lovely things. Rugwort moves to the Pebble location. Thank you. Yes, I have him on the wrong spot. He moves here. So just in case you're playing solo by yourself, this is his first spot, second spot, third spot, and then this is the fourth spot. You'd think that since it's spaced out, it would go here. Whoa, berries everywhere! But it goes to the location that gives him, I believe, a card and a berry. And correct me if I'm wrong on that. Thank you, Stacy. All right, cool. Here we go. So the situation here, Stacy says that I should hang on to the crane in order to fulfill, like there's a really nice event up here where if you have 4 blue cards, you can put a person there and then get 6 points off of that. Plus it's possible to get like the city monument too for having 3 cards. But that's 2 guys and 3 cards. And if we look at my hand, I have the dungeon, I guess, but that's not really great until kind of like an end gamey kind of thing. I guess I have the clock tower. I could, you know what, I could. That's not a terrible strategy that's forming there, is it? If I focus on these blue cards, whoa, where are they? These 2 blue cards, even though I don't super like them. What do we got? 3 twigs and a stone, which I could purchase right now, and then I could use the crane in order to build a dungeon, and then I would have enough to get that. You know what? That's pretty good. Let's try that. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? So I have 3 twigs and 1 stone, and the clock tower costs 3 twigs and 1 stone, and then the dungeon costs 3 resources, and I have, oh no, I have the crane, I was going to say, but then if I use the crane to put the dungeon in there, I'm getting rid of the crane, which means I would only have 2 blue cards, not 3 blue cards. Let me check my hand again and see if there's anything else that's blue. I don't think there is. We're looking for these banners, by the way. The judge is blue. He costs 3 berries. I always hate building a critter. Whoa, here we go. I always hate building a critter without having to pay to build a critter. If you can build a critter for free, like that's the best thing. So what I think I should do, that's a tough one. Hey, Susanna, glad you could join us. And Susanna's right. The Discord, if you've never joined us there, the Knights Around a Table Discord is super cool. A lot of the people that you see in chat are there. They're very nice people. We're talking games all the time. Sometimes we talk about Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's different, chat rooms where you can talk about different things. And there's even special chat rooms where if you're a patron, you get secret access. You don't have to be a patron to join the Discord. There is the address, so write that down. And that's at the bottom of all of my videos on YouTube in case you're missing it and you're nervous about that. Back to it. Of these 2, I think that the most useful thing to do is to build the clock tower, even though it's super duper expensive. But what it means is that and I've got 4 guys still that I can do stuff with. 1, 2, 3 twigs and a stone. There's a stone. There's the 3 twigs. I'm going to build the clock tower. So there's another blue. And it says you get to put 3 points on it. And when you switch seasons, you can take a point off. And woohoo! And reuse one of the forest, basic or advanced forest locations that you're in. Hey, Discord, how about that's on forever. I didn't know that it doesn't ever leave. Like, in case you missed it, you don't have a chance to write it down. Well, it's on the screen for 6 more hours. Here we go. Right. What do we just do? Built the clock tower. Because we built the clock tower, Rugwort gets to roll a die and goes number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and ha ha ha. Now this is interesting. The innkeeper is a unique critter, and Rugwort already has an innkeeper in his city. Now I suspect, this is a curb case, but I suspect it doesn't matter. Right, because Stacy, you said that none of the text on the cards even matters. So I think that means that Rugwort gets to get this, which means that we are 2 and 2 on the blue buildings. I've got 2, Rugwort's got 2. So now it's an exciting race to get this, woohoo, to get this monument up here. Oh, yeah, that's correct, Stacy says. Doesn't matter. All right, here we go. And what is the new card that's coming out? Please make it something good. Yes, fantastic. It's the Barge Toad. So that makes my turn very easy. Because I have the Twig Barge in my city, I get the Barge Toad for free. And the Barge Toad's great because it says that you get 2 twigs for each farm in your city. Well, fantastic. How many farms do I have in my city? I have, wait a second. I have one in my hand. So before, to maximize the value of the Barge Toad, oh, but then I would have to get rid of the crane to do that. Stacy, I'm going to go rogue on this. I know you're saying hang on to the crane, but I'm telling you, this is the right move. I never hang on to the crane. Never go full crane. Here we go. I'm going to I'm going to get rid of the crane and swap it for another farm, which will let me side load the husband in there and match him up with the wife. It gets me a berry. And if you think that's a bad idea, well, just check this out, because I might eventually be able to build up enough berries to get that judge who's a blue card, and that the whole point is getting blue cards. The crane gets discarded down here. Badoosh. And because I built a card, Rugwort gets to build a card. Right, so here we go. It's a 2. So Rugwort is going to build the Wanderer, which gets Rugwort another bindle. Let's go up to Rugwort's area. So that's 3 bindles, which means that at the end of this, when I switch into the next season, unless I'm able to build 3 bindles and get that event, Rugwort's going to get that basic event over here. Where is it? Right here. Whoop, nope, at the top of the board, right here. There we go. So I don't want that to happen, but I don't think there's anything that I can do to prevent it, because how many bindle cards do I have? I have 0. So I'm going to be really hard pressed to get 3 bindle cards out into my city by the time I switch into the final season. Not going to happen. That's okay. You can't always get what you want. Over here, we're going to replace the card to one I can't have. It's the Town Crier, which is part of that extra card set. Bindle, never heard it called that. Bindle, yeah, bindle is the hobo stick. It's the stick with the belongings in the handkerchief tied to the end. That's a bindle. Now you know. Now you have some. What did you call it when you played the game? Did you call it the hobo stick, or did you just call it brown? I don't know. Let me know. Homunculus said, "Would you say you did the crane kick?" Yes. There's an excellent stand-up comedian named Gary Gulman who does 15 protracted comedic minutes on working a single bit or premise, and he does a fantastic bit in his special In This Economy on the crane kick in The Karate Kid, and it's spectacular. Go seek it out. It might be an HBO jam. All right, so my plan is coming together. Because I have 2 farms now, the barge toad is super duper attractive, so I'm going to build the barge toad for free, and I'm able to do that because I have the twig barge up here. Whenever you do that and you side load something in for free or daisy chain it in, you have to block it so that you can't do it a second time. The barge toad says, get 2 twigs for each farm in your city. How many farms do I have? Well, I have 2, so that means I'm getting 4 big twigs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't spend them all in one place. Here they go, bajam. So now my resources are as follows: 4 twigs, 2 berries, and 4 lizards. Traveler. Oh, are you from the UK, Stacy? Is that why you call it a traveler? I know that nomadic peoples of the UK are called travelers, aren't they? Is that named after them, or what's going on? You let me know. Educate me. I have no idea. Aha! Fantastic. The doctor. Why is that important? If we check up here in the big events, this one requires you to have the doctor and the postal pigeon. That gets you 3 points for every husband/wife in your city. So, unfortunately, earlier in the game, if you were watching, Rugwort gained a postal pigeon, but the postal pigeon is a common critter, and there's a few of them in the deck. So I think that now that the doctor's out, and now that I have at least a wife, and I have the potential to daisy chain in a husband into my city, I think that's definitely something that I should keep an eye on. Back to my cards, in case you're forgetting what's in here. The Scribble Stadium, which we don't like, the Dungeon, the Theater, the Ruins, and the Judge. The Judge, who I desperately want to get out so that I can get up to 3 blue cards. Did I somehow scrap? What happened? Oh yes, because I was going to build the dungeon. Wow, so I've got sort of like a hard road ahead of me. I should really pay attention to what costs twigs now that I've got 4 of them. Nothing costs twigs. Fantastic. All right. My turn. What should we do? 4 lizards. 4 lizards, very few constructions. Super tricky. Can't have the storehouse. They would love it and should have bought it off the top of the game. Don't want the Scribble Stadium. But the dungeon's an interesting thing. 2 stone and a resin. 2 stone, how would I ever get that? Well, I could activate 2 cards in my city. Too bad that there's not a I mean, I think the beaver, the architect, lets you do it, lets you trade resources for other resources. If the beaver came out, that would be really good because I have the ruins, which likes the beaver. So I'm just asking that because if I amass like a whole huge pile of sticks, I already have 4 twigs. And if I use this space again to fire off 2 of my buildings, it's possible that the 2 buildings I could fire off include the barge toad because it's green. Ah, here's what I'm missing. Stop loading my Stacy's yelling at me from the stop loading your tableau with crappy cards. Yeah, you don't worry about me, Stacy. I got this. I got this. It's cool. Look, I got the ruins. Oh, it's worth 0 points. Never mind. I got the dungeon. Let's start putting people in the dungeon. I don't know what that accent's about. I need to grab more points. Higher point cards and basic events. IMO. I'm glad you mentioned basic events because check this out. I now have enough green properties in order to get this. So hopefully that appeases you, Stacy. We're going to put the lizard on the festival and take it over here. I don't know where I'm going to put that, but like, let's say right there. So that'll be 3 points. And now I have deprived Rugwort of that event. Great. Yeah, and then Stacy's telling Omelette that I'm going to lose 3 points for every special event I don't get, which is why I'm trying to focus on them. Not enough. Not enough. They're tough though, man. Look at those special events. Look at that. You need 4 blue cards. You need 4 brown cards. And then you need these 2, like, completely useless. The postal pigeon, and I really don't like the chapel or the woodcarver. Although the highest score I ever earned on Everdell was in a game where I had the woodcarver. I generally find it a useless card. I forget what it does. It gets you a resin, or should get you wood, shouldn't it? But if I recall correctly, it gets you resin, and I hated it. But I just built this crazy engine with this amazing thing where I just went ping, pang, pong, and just got like an immense number of resources every single turn. It was awesome. Right. Tell me, did I roll for Rugwort when I built the barge toad? Probably not. And please also tell me, did I roll for Rugwort when I built the clock tower? I might have missed both of those or one of those. So I'm going to wait in chat while I drink and you can tell me if I missed one or both. Oh, great. Stacy's keeping score. Current score, Ryan 11, Rugwort 12. And it'll go way up if Ryan can't grab any special events and basic events. Well, I grabbed one basic one. I do need to do one now. Thank you very much, Omelette, for keeping me honest. So, because I built the barge toad, Rugwort is going to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, you guys! He just took that precious doctor away. So he's inadvertently, by luck of the roll, he's taking away the cards that I need in order to get that event up there. He's taken both the doctor and the postal pigeon. You rapscallion. I think he's up to no good, you guys. So we'll put that in green. But I don't mind if he gains green cards. That's two more points for him. But every single green card he gains, like I already took the event. So at least he can't get the event. That's good. Right then. The card to replace it. Oh, no, it's another innkeeper. This is terrible. This is terrible. Really, I guess what I might have done is... No, the innkeeper wasn't available. Rugwort's taken both of them. But that would have been an interesting way to, for cheapsies, get the doctor into my city. And the doctor's worth 4 points, and the 4 points might calm Stacy down a little bit. Yeah, you want the innkeeper, Omelette says. Probably for the... Yeah, he probably just came to the conclusion that I just did. I know, what a nice 4-point card that was. I know, and it's all like cheapo stuff now. And the hand is still bummer. Still bummer hand. Huh. Tricky. Tricky. I keep warping past these ruins, and I really wonder if there's any advantage to me scrapping one of the buildings that I have. Let's take a closer look. If I scrap that, I'll get all 3, but I'll... Man, these green buildings, I really like them because of that one space that lets you fire off green buildings. I don't want to scrap this farm. I could scrap this farm, but that nerfs the barge toad. And I could take the space that fires off 2 green buildings, but this is the most valuable one, but that would just give me a pile more twigs. I get 4 more twigs, and what am I going to do with twigs without a beaver? To eat them and turn them into other things. Oh, you know what? Thematically, I just realized that's probably why they named that card the beaver, because you get to trade something in, and probably other games people end up with way too many twigs, right? It's the most common resource, and you get 3 here. So probably that's the beaver paying you for your twigs. That's kind of smart. I don't know if that was intended, but it's kind of neat. Ha. Yeah, Once again, I think the most valuable spot on the board is activate 2 cards in your city, which gets me a pile of twigs, but it doesn't really do anything for me. Gain a berry, gain a berry. If I gained a berry, I would have 3 berries. I'd be able to get the shepherd in, but the shepherd likes the chapel. It's just not enough constructions. Not enough constructions. So I wonder if then the play would just be to build something just so that I get another card out into the middle, just to churn that a little bit. Or if I should take one of these spots up here that gets me a card, or this one that gets me 2 cards. Oh, you might think this is a terrible idea, but I'm once again going to use this space. Oh, forgive me. Wait, do I have enough? 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I have enough. So you might think that's a terrible idea, but that's what I'm going to choose to do just because I'm so hard up for cards. Here we go. Oh, so that is an expansion card. I'm going to ditch that. The post office and the miner mole. Well, the advantage of the miner mole is that I can get it in there for free because I have the mine. The disadvantage of the miner mole, one of them, is that Omelette says, "You don't use that space." I know, I never use that space, but I'm so hard up for cards and there's nothing else that churns my cards. I know, I felt dirty doing it. The advantage of the miner mole is that I can get it in for free, but the disadvantage, as Stacy will point out, and she'll go nuts about it, is that it's only worth a point. And then copy a green in an opponent's city. Do I still get to copy an action in an opponent's city if that opponent is Rugwort? If so, let me know. I think so. I think so. That's why Rugwort has cards in his city. But let me put these in my hand and we'll just visit Rugwort's green cards and see if that is of any use. Pay up to 3 berries to gain a point each. Draw 2 cards, which is looking... Sorry. Pay up to 3 berries to gain a point each. Draw 2 cards, which is looking very attractive. And activating... That's just like reciprocal. No, I'm going to activate the chip sweep. Oh, I'm going to activate this. Of all of them, the draw 2 cards thing is quite attractive. Yes, copy the Rugwort green card. So I could do that to get even more cards. But I think I'm butting up against the limit on my cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just there's nothing I want to build. If there was something I wanted to build, that would be a different story entirely. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. The judge is only worth 2. The judge is only worth 2. That's no good. Well, it's tough. It's tough. You know what I want to do? This is what I want to do. I usually ignore the post office, but the post office is the ideal. Nuke the site from orbit, dump your hand card. Give an opponent 2 cards and then discard any number of cards and draw up to your hand limit. I may just burn it all to the ground. Is that a bad plan? Is that a bad plan? Would you do it? Because I'm thinking about it. I'm about to do it. I'm about to try building the post office and just torching the whole thing. Even though it would cost me a worker to get the stuff and it would cost me a worker to play on it, so that would be both of my workers, but it would get me a whole new hand. Yeah, Stacy's saying build a post office. I think I got to do it. Man, it's expensive. Oh, you know what? It wouldn't cost me. Yeah, it would cost me 2 workers. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to do it just because this hand is just, whoa, wretched. Also, throwing your animals off the table, also a wretched thing to do. Blam, we're going to go here. I'm going to get 2 resin and a twig and put it in the old coffers. That's a lot of twigs out there, folks. And then back to here, the post office is going to cost 1 twig and 2 resin, which I will happily do. So 1 twig, 2 resin. Whoa! 1 twig, 2 resin. This, by the way, is why I do my my how to play videos without hands in the shot, because it's just like you spend most of your time looking at a big hairy hand. Right. Blam. And so that's built, and that means that Rugwort gets to do something. He gets to build one thing. And he gets to build number 5. Ha ha ha! Rugwort gets another innkeeper. I laugh, but that's pretty bad, because that means that if I'm not able to build those 3 blue cards by the end of this season, Rugwort is going to get the city monument, because he got up to 3 blues before I do, which is just not a good situation. So back to Rugwort. So he's going to get this innkeeper right here. Man, it's weird, eh, that Rugwort got 3 innkeepers. That's just bizarre. Back to the meadow. Please be something good. Please be construction. It's the general store, a very, very low earning store. You get an extra, you get a berry, and then you get an extra berry if you have a farm in your city, which, as you will recall, I do. I have 2 farms, but isn't teacher in spot 5? Oh my God. Yes, you're right. Oh, I've messed up. Thank you. Thank God. Thank God for the chatters. So this is going to go back here, and the teacher is going to go up to Rugwort's area. And it's green, so that doesn't matter. So that's good. I still have a little bit of runaway for the blue cards. And then back here, thank you. Yeah, if you catch me doing anything and numbers are involved, you can. Chris was mentioning making bets. If you want to place a bet, bet that Ryan's going to mess up the numbers. So thank you for catching it. Yeah, good catch. Phew, that was a close one. Boy, we all got sweaty. Great. So general store. I don't like it. I don't like it. I bet Stacy doesn't like it either. It's cheap, but of course it's low point. But we're going to stick with the original plan, which was to take this lizard and put it on this post office to give an opponent 2 cards and discard any number of cards and draw up to your hand limit, which is 8. So that's going to be a big boon. The real question is, what do I give and what do I chuck? I want to give 2, doesn't matter, chuck everything. Should I hang on to that minor mole? No, I shouldn't. I don't think it's very useful at all. It's only worth 1 point. Stacy might advocate hanging on to these blue cards, but I generally don't like them. And I only have 1 blue card. I would need to get 3 blue cards. I don't have any people left, so I can't get resources. You know what? I'm going to give 2, chuck the rest. That's it. This is a nuclear option. Boom. So they go into the discard pile. And then back up here at the top of the board, I'm drawing 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alberto asks, are you playing with the husband and wife? Yeah, Alberto, over here, what's happening is the husband and wife are in the deck. I haven't seen hide nor hair of the husband, but I've used a farm to daisy chain the wife in, and I have another farm to get a husband in there for free, and then he'll go and live with her, and that stack will be worth 7 points to me at the end of the game, which is a nice little bundle of points. I'd love to have it. But let's see what I drew. I drew another minor mole. Flippin' heck. And a wanderer. Who cares? That's been available all game. The judge came back. Interesting. Judge is back on the table. The monastery, who likes the monk. We haven't seen the monk. The monastery and the cemetery are both challenging cards because they both have ERY on the end. And if you're Ryan and you focus too much on words, but not like a normal person would, if you focus on a letter within a word like I kind of do, they both end in ERY, and then maybe if you play your game and there are 2 events out that require the monastery and the cemetery, and then you get them both confused and you collect the wrong cards and then you cry, but then you're pretty good at Everdell and you win the game by a huge amount of points anyway. Not that that ever happened to me. They both require you to put workers on there, and then you lose the workers for the rest of the game. So they're good for end game, but you definitely wouldn't want to play them in any season earlier than autumn, in my opinion. There's the Skirble champion. Now that the stadium is gone, there's an inn which I really like. When you play on the inn, you get to play a critter construction from the meadow for 3 fewer resources. So it's like a crane, but it takes a guy, and it's open to other players to use, which is less of a consideration in a multiplayer game. There's the peddler who likes the ruins, and I just got rid of the ruins. And he's the one who would let me exchange Oh, it's only up to 2 of your resources. So it's not like I'm going to be able to blow all of those twigs, 4 twigs to get like 4 stone or anything. But that's still, the peddler is a very viable option. And the monastery, again, 2 monasteries. Wow, is that real? Oh, no. I just cycled it all the way through. Let's make sure that that's 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, it is. So of these, the inn is interesting to me. The peddler is interesting to me. The monastery, not so much because I'm not... Oh, there are 2 monasteries. Look at that. So now they're even less interesting. But as far as the blue card gambit goes, Judge... The Judge is the only blue card. The Innkeeper is a blue card. So if I'm able to build the Judge and the Innkeeper, even though I hate building critters, but the Judge, like how... Oh, right. I would use the Innkeeper to get the Judge, but then I would lose the Innkeeper. Huh... No, Stacy, sorry to see you go. You were great. You helped a lot. And this stream will be up in maybe a day or 2. So if you want to see how this game turned out and how all of my horrible mistakes had the butterfly effect and rippled through time and screwed me up and I lost to Rugwort. Remember, the good money's on Rugwort. Then you can check that stream out on Twitch, hopefully, if I figure out how to do that, or definitely YouTube. Facebook, I don't know. Does anybody use Facebook anymore? Tricky. Doing a lot of thinking in this game. It's not quality thinking, but it's definitely thinking. Okay. What I'm going to do, just for the sake of churning the meadow, is I'm going to pay a berry. In order to, because all the cool kids are and I kind of want to deprive him. Oh, I know what I could do. The general store is more interesting to me now, but I got rid of the general store, didn't I? Maybe dumping my cards wasn't the power play that I thought it would be. But I'm gonna take this Innkeeper and put him here, and he's gonna get me a 3-berry discount on any sort of higher value critter that I want to use. And then a new card comes out. And then we roll, it's another farm, we roll for Rugwort. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So Rugwort is going to build, or attract the, kind of like Wingspan, attract the Shepherd, which puts it here. Has he already earned the bindles? No, he has not. So now he still has enough to get the bindle event right here, because he only needs 3 bindles. And he's got 4 bindles now. So he's still getting that. He's still kicking my butt. There's no way that I can stop him on that because I only have 0. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm not going to stop. Yeah, spoiler alert, Ryan loses. No kidding. I should just put that. That should just be the subtitle on every single one of these solo playthroughs. Okay. Right. What happens? A new card comes out to the meadow. It's the Historian. I don't like him. But he's blue. He's blue. He's blue. He's blue. Do I have anything that's cheaper? The Judge. But then I would get rid of... But I really like the Judge. And it would churn. But Rugwort would get another card. What the heck? I'm just... I'm doing irresponsible things. So I'm going to get rid of this guy. And I'm going to play the Judge for freezies. And that means that anytime I play a critter or construction, I get to sort of like, if it costs, 3 stone and a wood, I can swap out the wood or the stone for something else that I have on hand. Which is great because it's a great card for me because, as you see, I got a lot of wood. Got a lot of wood. So now that I've done that, now that I built a card, Rugwort rolls. It's going to be 7, so that's this teacher, which I'm not, again, too burned about because he can get all the flipping green cards that he wants to because I already have that event. But each green card that he gets earns him 2 points. Recall that. And a new card comes out into the meadow. It's a school. And the school daisy chains with the teacher, but he just took the teacher. My word. You would think, like, it's interesting because I'm sure the way that they design these solo modes, the better the solo mode, the more it feels like there's somebody actually playing against you. And I really do feel like Rugwort is making intelligent choices, and I'm not. You know, it does feel like I'm playing against a human opponent, which is a pretty cool trick. Maybe that's just random and luck of the draw, but it you know, the kinds of cards that he's getting make it feel that way. So back to the plan. If I can still get, I have 2 blue cards. If I can get 2 more blue cards, I'll be a happy man. Well, 1 more blue card and then another blue card in order to take this event away and not lose points to Rugwort at the end of the game. Hi, Dom. Good to have you here. Almond says the school gives me a bonus for common critters at the end of the game, and Stacy would want me to build it because I have numerous common critters in my farm. Do I? The wife is a common critter, so that's 1. The barge toad is 2. It's only really 2 though. Really, do you think that that's that compelling to get 2 points out of the school? So that would make the school worth 4 points total. But who knows? I'm going to be building other critters for sure. Ah, there's the general store. That's what I was confused about. So I've already taken the 2 resin and a twig spot. If I can get a stone and a resin, I'll be able to build that, and I'll be able to build that. And that'll be, oh shoot, am I out of lizards? Oh no. 1 lizard, 2 lizard, 3 lizard, 4 lizard. I'm out of lizards. Oh boy. I'm out of lizards. But when I move into autumn, all of my green stuff fires off. Is there anything that I'm able to build before I have to move on to autumn? I don't think so. All I've got is twigs and 1 berry. Twigs and 1 berry, twigs and 1 berry. Yeah. I am going to, classically, I'm going to do a walk back, and I'll tell you why. What I did is I used the innkeeper in order to build this judge, but really the better idea would have been to build the peddler. And the judge came from my hand, so I'm not doing anything messy to the meadow, and I don't have to re-roll anything for Rugwort. So I think this is a fair move. Yeah, I thought I had more people too on it. I think this is an okay move. I don't think I'm messing anything up by doing this, but what it allows me to do is take 2 of these twigs and trade them in for 2 of something else. Let me decide in a second. And then when I switch over to autumn, I'll be able to fire him off and do that 1 more time and get rid of the twigs if I don't want to. So now I get 2 resources of anything I want. Let me just double check. You may pay up to 2 resources to gain an equal amount of whatever resources. Yes, I'm reading that correctly. So 2 resources, which will allow me to get 1 thing out for free. And there's no way that I'm going to compete with a Rugwort on this. I know he's not going to build another card because this is not me building, this is me rewinding. So I'm not going to have to fight him on the city monument this time. So I should look and see what costs 2 resources. And the thing that costs 2 resources is the general store. And the reason I would build that is to get the shopkeeper, though Stacy would go nuts because these are 2 low value cards, but it keeps me in the game longer and it frees up 2 spots. But 1 point and 1 point is going to be 2 points and 2 points at least for Rugwort. So that will, that's tricky, isn't it? That's tricky. Back here 1 more time. Is there anything that costs 2 resources that I can build from my hand? There isn't, but the inn. So the 2 resources I'm going to get are going to be a resin and a stone. Those are the 2. And they go over here. And I'm going to build the inn here. Whoa, no, up here. So that means I have 4 more slots unless I do something like the husband or the wanderer. So that's there. And that's going to give me a worker placement spot for next round where I can place somebody there and then be able to get a big discount on stuff on the board. So Rugwort rolls and builds something. And if it's a blue card, if it's either of these, then that's really bad news. Number 2, thank God. So he's going to build another, he's going to get a green critter in there. So that's another 2 points for Rugwort. And a new card comes out that I can't touch. It's the Lookout. Whenever they have blue on them, I think they're an expansion card, that teal blue from Pearlbrook, but that's not. All right, cool. Cool. All right. I need the castle. Yeah. I need a castle, I need a king, I need a queen, I need a palace. Lots of low earning cards have come out, haven't they? It's been kind of a tough go. But I feel like I've been saying that every single solo game I've been playing. It's kind of a tough go. We're in a tight spot. Maybe you just suck at board games. I don't know. Let's see. So, I just built the inn. The inn likes the badger. We've already built the badger. There's nobody there. If I had built the general store, I could have loaded the shopkeeper in, but it's a points losing game to do that, even though it would have kept me in longer and would have put 2 more things out. I think I'll just move on to the final round. Would you do that? I don't know. Let's find out. Tell me in chat if you would do that. All right. To move on, here's what happens. Rugwort's dude goes into this spot. Correct me if I'm wrong. Not this one, but the one that gives him blocks the berry in the card. This one, since it's year 1 now, there's 3 modes of difficulty, and one of the things that happens is he gets a different number of points at the end of the game. So if you're doing year 1, he goes on 3. In year 2, he goes on 4. Year 3, he goes on 5. So in year 1, the easiest, I repeat, the easiest solo mode, he goes down here on year 3. Oh, sorry, on spot 3. So he'll get 3 points out of that. Okay, so that happens. I don't think I take any of these cards off the board. I think that both of his people up on the tree go here and here. So I can't have the Wanderer and I can't have the Historian. We double check to see if he gets any of these events, and he does, because he got the Bindle one. So he's going to take that with him, and I'm going to put that over here with the Bindle cards. Sorry, those aren't the Bindle cards. These are the Bindle cards. So he gets that extra 3-point bonus. Not so good. And he's blocking these. So all of these 4 cards are blocked to me, but not to him. I only have access to the ones on the bottom, but I have access now to all 3 forest spots. I think that's how it goes. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's good. I did research this. It's hard to keep it all in your head. Okay, here we go. The final round, I get 2 more guys from here. So there's 2 lizards. This lizard comes off. This lizard comes back from here. And this lizard comes back from here. And I get to fire off all of my green stuff. So first I get 1 stone, and then I get 2 wood, and then I get 1 berry. There's a 1 berry. And then I get another berry, and the wife doesn't do anything because she's purple. The barge toad, get 2 wood for each farm in your city. So I've got 2 farms, so you can hear me over here grabbing 4 wood, and he comes back. Shazoom. The peddler, you can exchange up to 2 resources for 2 of anything you want, and that inn is not green. So here's the whole whack of, that's a big pile of stuff. I'm gonna move my lizards over here so you can see it all. Holy cow. Because they're important decisions to make. Important. Yeah, that's a ton of stuff, right? Whew. So in total, it's 2 stone, 1 resin, 3 berries, and a boatload of wood. Like, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck? I think approximately this amount. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wood. And what costs wood? Absolutely nothing. So I'm going to use the peddler in order to get rid of 2 wood for something more delectable. And nothing's worth 3 points on this board. Like, look at this. This is all. Remember, Rugwort gets 2 points per card. So you really want to try to get 3 points out of your cards. 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. Though the monastery is interesting. It locks up a worker, but that's okay in the final season because I won't be able to use that worker again anyway. I give 2 resources to an opponent, which doesn't matter because it's solo mode, and I gain 4 points. So that's not and that it's already worth a point. So I could juice this thing for 5 points, spending the resources in the guy. So monastery is interesting. It's unique, so I wouldn't be able to build the second monastery and do it again. So that's kind of a wasted card. Yeah, the Wanderer, not so much. The Skirble Champion, the Judge is interesting because I'm still fighting to get this event up here, which is 3 blue cards. Just to refresh your memory, Rugwort is on 2 blue cards and I am on 1 blue card. So if I'm able to build 2 more, and that's really important too because up here at the top, there's also this puppy, which I can grab if I get 4 blue cards. So blue cards are still very much a thing, and thankfully I have enough berries, 3 berries, see over here, in order to afford the Judge this round if I never get the courthouse out and build them for free. So I think I can get 2 blue cards out of that, which is very good. So that's an interesting kind of endgame thing. But I think that the most valuable use of my peddler exchanging 2 resources is I'll get rid of these 2 twigs and I'll take 2 stone. And the reason I'm taking 2 stone and not a stone and a resin is because resin is plentiful here and it's plentiful here. It's not that hard to get, but stone you can only get 1 of them from this spot. So I think that's the best option right there. I'm just going to double check and make sure there's nothing that costs 2 resin. That'll drive me crazy. No. Okay, cool. Did I use the clock tower? Oh, wow. Thank you so much for reminding me. That's fantastic. The clock tower. So when you place it, you put 3 points on here. I never noticed it because it's not green, right? So it's hard to remember to activate the clock tower between seasons. Thanks so much for reminding me, Omelette. At the beginning of preparing for the season, you pay 1 of them from here to activate 1 of the basic or forest locations where I had a person. So I'm definitely going to do that because that's of super value. Now, the only thing would be remembering which spaces I had lizards on. Anybody recall? I definitely had a lizard here, for sure. And I had one here because everybody told me not to take that spot. And I had one over here, so that's 3, and I had one here, and that's 4. So these 2 spots are the ones I choose for, so I can either have 2 cards and a point, or I have 2 resins and a twig, and I think between these, the 2 resins and the twig went out, so that I will be just flush with crazy numbers of resources. Blam, and now I can build anything! Watch me, Rugwort. Here we go. I can build anything except if it goes over 15 cards, and then I can't build anymore. That's how the game goes. Here we are. Final round. Thank you very much for reminding me of that. That was really important. So, back to the plan. I am going to build the monastery, which costs me a twig, a resin, and a stone. So over here, excuse me, fellas. Resin, twig, stone. Hey, did I pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I probably miscounted, right? I probably had 9 twigs because I see only 7 now, and I should have meant 2. Once again, if it involves numbers, all bets are off. I'm doing it wrong. And a twig. Okay. Okay. I think I did that properly. And then over here, the monastery is ready to go, but Rugwort gets to build something because I built something. Number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh. That puts the pressure on. Rugwort builds the Historian, which means that Rugwort now has enough blue cards in order to pick up this event right here, the City Monument, which requires 3 blue cards. However, the rules are he doesn't get to do that until I prepare for the next season, so until I prepare for winter. So that means, I believe, it's a bit of a race. If I'm able to get my 3 blue cards out there before he does, I'll be able to put a person on and claim that. So what I should really do, and this is what I like doing when I play Everdell, is this guy is going to claim the event, so I can't spend him. And this guy is going to go on the monastery, so I can't spend him on a spot getting resources. And probably 1 more to go on the inn to build something super cheap, so I'm definitely not going to spend him. So really I have 3 guys to spend on resources on the board, which could include, by the way, very attractively, down here, the journey spot. If I put somebody here, I can dust 5 cards, which is fantastic because my cards, frankly, stink. So I can get rid of 5 cards for 5 points, but that might be... So what I'm going to do just to remember that is maybe just do this, and he's like the maybe journey guy, which means I've got 2 guys to put on spots for resources. But as you can see, I'm not really hurting for resources over here. Okay. All right, here we go. Which expansion are the lizards from? That's a great question. I have a feeling they're from Belfair, but it could be wrong. It's either Spirecrest or Belfair. They were in that last campaign. I just, you get all the stuff at once and then open it up in the big frenzy of tearing packages open, and I didn't really associate anything with anything. So they're whatever. I have no idea. The cards replace. Oh, it's the palace, and I don't get to build it. And if he builds it, he gets 3 points out of it. That's bad news. Okay, continuing with my plan. Order of operations. I know that I want to use this to build something for cheapsies, but there's nothing really good on the board and I can't build a palace. So I'm going to hold off on this until something is worth building. Over here, oh sorry, I was talking about this, not this. This is the dump your cards. I probably won't use this again. I'm talking about the inn. Here, 2 resources and gain 4 points. This is again something that I can kind of wait on until later because it's not super pressing. And I don't really see anything really pressing to do except maybe to get this blue card thing finally sorted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the judge, which costs me 3 berries. Come now. 3 berries. And the judge goes here, and it's messing up my little gambit with my lizards. And after I play the judge, whenever I play a critter construction, you can replace one thing with one thing. Now, I will point out this is absolutely a rules gremlin situation. Rules gremlin, where are you? There you are. You can't do that immediately. So I think a couple of times I played this game where it's like, oh, now I've got a judge power. And for playing the judge, also, it's not the judge, it's the courthouse that I'm talking about. The courthouse gives you 1 resource of a certain kind after you build a construction. And so you think like, oh, I build the courthouse and then I get that benefit. No, it's every construction you build after you build the courthouse. Just pointing that out. Right, cool. So he lets me be more flexible, which is great because I have a lot of resources that I can be flexible with all of these woods. So I'm definitely going to forget that. Please point it out to me. Last few. So this is like completely useless to me. And now I have 4 cards, which means I won't actually be able to go down here to the 5 journey spot unless I get some more cards in my hand. Now, did I roll for Rugwort? I don't think I did. After I built the judge. Let's roll for Rugwort. It's a 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? All right. Rugwort builds the palace. Fantastic. Well done, Rugwort. You're really good at this game, Rugwort. And the replacement card is from the expansion, so I'll flip it, and the lookout is on here. So Rugwort just got 3 points for that card. This is ouchie magouchie to the Maximus. However, on the bright side, I have 2 blue cards. I'm looking for 3. Do I have one in my hand that I can build? No. Is there one out here that I can build? Yes. Can I build it? No, because I don't have the berries. So even though I hate the card and I don't want to build it, I'm gonna build the general store. It's a dumb move. It's a dumb move, but you know what? This game, oh my gosh, I don't think it's going very well for me at all. So I'm gonna pull a couple Hail Marys before the end of it. Hail Mary number 1. It's gonna be building this terrible general store card. So I'm gonna pay a stone and a resin to put it over here. It says gain a berry. If you have any farms in your city, gain 1 additional berry. That's not 1 per farm, but that's just if you have 1, you get a berry. So that means I get 2 more berries. And we replenish that card. And Rugwort. Oh, fantastic. Okay, The husband's out. I really want the husband. That would increase this stack to, what, 7 points total and not take up a spot. And I have the farm to bring him in for free. All I got to do is not roll a 5. That's all I have to do. Here we go. Who wants to bless the die for luck? Susanna, thank you for the reminder. Yes, I think Omelette pointed out that I forgot the clock tower. Oh, did I actually take the resources? I traded the resources. You let me know. Did I take my clock tower resources? It's a 3. Thank Heavenly Father, it's not 5. So Rugwort gets the Wanderer, which is fine because it's a bindle, it's a hobo card, it's a brown card, and so it's not a threat to any of the basic events up top because frankly he already got that one, so I don't have to worry too much about that. However, let's take another card out. It's the wife. That's okay. I'm not too burned by that. So definitely my next move is to take no 5s exactly. Yeah, no whammies. So I'm going to take the husband, and the husband is going to come and live with the wife. If paired with the wife and you have at least one farm in your city, you gain a resource of any kind. So he goes underneath her so that we can see her end game scoring thing here. And that whole stack is worth 7 points, which is grand, because her points will trigger at the end of the game. So we get, and then I have to block off this farm with a door because he farm daisy chained him in there. Right, so I get 1 resource of any kind. What is that kind going to be before I replenish? That kind is going to be, let's take another look at what I've got. Probably a resin, even though they're easy to get. Would that be dumb? A resin? I don't know. It's against my... I'm going to go stone just because stone's the hardest thing to get, even though I'm low on resin. But with nothing to build from this terrible meadow, you know, what are you going to do? So the replacement card is going to be another husband. And there's a farm and there's a husband. That's where I really wish that this plan would have come to fruition. Look at this. You got the doctor, you got the postal pigeon. Then for each husband and wife pair in... Oh, I didn't even read it properly. In every city, it's not just your city. So that's a much better card when you have multiple players. It's not just your city, every husband and wife in every city. So that would be nice. But if you were tuned in earlier, Rugwort got both the doctor and the postal pigeon, and we haven't seen either one since. So nuts to that. But back to what I was doing. I just built a husband. You'll have to remind me. Roll for Rugwort. Thank you. Here we go. So again, I don't want... What do I not want? I think I'm pretty safe with whatever he picks. So he's going to pick 3. And we'll put that up with... That's bad because he gets 3 points for that card. You ignore the point values on the card. He just gets 3 points for every purple. And it's another husband. Good shuffling, everyone. Good shuffling. All right. All right. To count up my blue cards, I have 1 blue card, 2 blue cards, and 1 more blue card will do it. And I have the berries to do the 1 blue card, even though I don't like the blue card. But I think one thing that I'm missing is the judge says when you play a critter or construction, you may replace 1 with 1. That's not the thing. I always confuse the judge with the courthouse. But here we go. I can play the shopkeeper, even though I don't like him. I'm going to pay two berries. Pardon me. In order to put the shopkeeper over here. And I'm terribly out of room, so if anything interesting happens, I'm not going to be able to do much about it. But this is all so that I can get this this event up here, this basic event, and not lose those 3 points to Rugwort. Even though, I mean, let's take another look at how many 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, plus another, what is that, 6 points? So 30, what did I say, 34 points versus, oh my lord, versus 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 7 is going to be 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 22, 23, 24. 27 versus 20. That's not the biggest gap, actually. I'm surprised it's so low. But yes, thank you for the reminder. Roll for Rugwort. There's the wood carver out, and Rugwort gets to build number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A lookout. No biggie. Up to Rugwort. And that's another, is he a hobo? No, he's a red one. That's potentially dangerous because up here in the events, the red one is still available. Now, I'm nowhere near getting that because I have, what? I didn't even notice. I got 3. This is fantastic. So I could get that, and I must get that, or else I give points up to him. Okay, excellent. Very, very good. I'm glad that, thank you, Rugwort. I'm glad you got that and tuned into that. The theater. Okay, cool. So I get to take a couple of turns without him doing anything nonsensical. So I'm going to take one of my lizards, and I'm going to go up and definitely take that boat because I have the 3 cards that I need to do that. And he goes down here. Shazam. He's off screen, but here, I'll just stack him on top of this one just so we know that he's there. Okay, good. And then because I have 1, 2, 3 blue cards, I'm going to take this guy. It's all coming together now. And I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to take this one and go down here. Bazoom, bazoom. Okay, cool. So that means I have 4 guys left, and I know a couple of them need to go on cards here. Okay. Okay, and then I'm getting excited now because I didn't know that the gap was so small. And I have a couple of extra points that I didn't. Maybe this is winnable. Maybe this is winnable. So I got those events. What is really going to slay me though is up here. I don't have any of these major events, and I don't think I can get them. I can get this one if I build 1 more blue card, which should be like my whole game at this point. Woodcarver and Chapel, no good. Like the Woodcarver's out. We haven't seen the Chapel the entire game, and it's a rare card. This one, forget about it. He's just getting those points. And then the Bindle one, I can't do because I only have, there's not enough time left in the game, and I only have 0 Bindle cards, so that's not going to be a thing at all. But if I can get 1 more blue card out and once more into my hand, are there any blue cards in my hand? No, there are 0. So I'm just looking for that 1 blue card in order to get that major event. And then the other 3, I got to give up 9 points to Rugwort. All right. However, I'm not sunk yet because you might disagree, but I can take this guy, put it on the monastery, and that's give 2 to an opponent and gain 4 points. So definitely worth the money. So up here, I'm going to give these 2 to the opponent, doesn't matter, and put them up here. So they went into the bucket, and I get 4 points. And the 4 points are over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Over here. Great, grand, lovely. Now the one drawback, of course, with metal coins when you're doing live streams is the lights like to bounce off them and make them super shiny. Okay. Okay. Susanna says, I generally don't think you reactivated a spot from the clock tower. You could get 2 cards from the spot you were on last season. Let me reread the clock tower. You put 3 on when you get it, and then when you go to... How could I get 2 cards? It lets me reactivate one of my guys, and the guy that I chose to activate was the guy who was on the 2 resin and the twig, wasn't it? Did I not take the resources? Let me know. Let me know in the chat, because maybe I missed something. It's very possible. Okay. Okay, down to it. I have 3 guys left. Potentially, depending on what Susanna rules, more stuff. I need a blue card desperately. There are no blue cards out. If I get another blue card, I'm able to get this and not give up these 3 points to Rugwort. Yeah, Stacy's giving me heck for the really low point cards on my tableau. Stacy, you missed it. Like, you missed it. It was like, I mean, chat can shout me down if they want to, but there was nothing I could do about it. There was nothing, like nothing came out of the meadow. I swear it. So Susanna says, looking back, I must have taken them. I think I did. I think I took 2 resin and a thing, and I would have spent it on the monastery, which costs a resin. So I think I did that. I think so. Oh, Now the tough decisions. The tough decisions. Basically, I need cards is the long and short of it. I need more options. And you guys get really mad when I take this spot, but like, I don't know what else to do. No other green card gives me cards. So if I use this spot to activate green cards, it's not like that'll help me. Like the thing that'll help me right now is more cards so that I can fish for a blue card. Like, oh my gosh, you'll hate my guts for it. I got to do it. I got to do it. I'm doing that, and I'm taking the point. And I'm taking the 2 new cards. And here's hoping. I mean, there's still a lot of cards. I can't aim the camera at it, but there's still a good, 2 inches of cards left in the deck. But let's see. Susanna says, just get the cards. We won't yell. Okay, one of them is an expansion card, and one I already have. So it's a husband. That's a drag. That is a drag. Man, where are all the constructions in this game? They just didn't come out. So let me look at my options again. I could build something for super cheap, but like it's my last spot is the thing. It's my last spot. My last spot. Think. So really I need, like, I gotta see a dungeon. I have, well, okay, now, I mean, the advantage of taking those cards, 2, 3, 4, 5, is now I have 5 cards in order to ditch in the Haven down here. So I can get 5 points out of that. And it wouldn't be building anything, so he wouldn't get 2 points for me doing that. So, I mean, that's a promising thing. I can't build this judge because he's a unique critter, right? I need that other blue card, but I've already got a judge here. So I can't do that. I'm just wondering if there's any value. Yeah, oh geez. It's a catch-22. I need to build something in order to refresh the meadow. And if I do that, a new card might come out that I can build. However, I won't have any spots left in my tableau. Unless a dungeon comes out and I can use it to scrap something. Or, sorry, not the dungeon, the ruins. I mean, that's a pretty big gamble. Post office? Yeah, right, post office. Good idea, DJ Mark V. Good idea. Post office. Post office. Post office. It takes a guy, but I don't need resources. I don't need to use those guys for resources. Ooh, that's spicy. It's going to be post office. Great idea. Post office. Blam. So that means I can give 2 cards to an opponent, which I don't have to because it's Rugwort, and then ditch any number of cards. And you better believe the number of cards I'm going to ditch is the number of cards I have, 6. And then I get to draw up to my hand limit, so I get to see 8 fresh cards. Fantastic work, DJ Mark V. Thank you so much. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. With a hope and a prayer that one of them is blue. Because I have one guy left to put on that special event. Here we go. School, not blue. This feels like opening like starter packs for Pokemon or something. Like it's not a shiny. Here we go. School is not blue. Woodcarver is not blue. Post office, I already have it, not blue. Storehouse would have been good at the beginning of the game, not blue. Teacher, not blue. Historian, blue. I don't have the stuff to do a historian. Terrible. Pirate we get rid of because he's an expansion card and another storehouse. So this is it. This feels like Willy Wonka opening the chocolate bar and finding out the extra one that he buys because Grandpa Joe won't flip and get out of bed. It's the third woodcarver. Is that the third woodcarver in here? Come on. Come on. No, storehouse that likes the woodcarver. All right. All my hopes hinge on this historian. However, I don't have the berries to buy him. However, I do have the judge, which lets me swap one resource so I could do a berry and something else. However, I don't have the berry. However, I have one more guy that I could put and get the berry. However, I don't have any more guys to be able to put on the event up here in order to take it and get those nice 6 points. Yeah, Judge. Yeah, Judge, but it only... Clock Tower. No, I can't use the Clock Tower, Davo. So the Clock Tower, just to refresh your memory, only triggers when you go from season to season. So it wouldn't trigger until the end of the game. Then you get resource. I don't even think you can trigger it at the end of the game when you... Well, maybe you can. Oh, that's an interesting thought. Because there is one card, the Architect, that lets you get points for every leftover stone and resin that you have on your... in your collection. So I wonder if you could use the Clock Tower at the very end of the game to trade a bunch of wood in for a stone or resin. No, I think I'm out of guys and I'm out of hope, and I couldn't get that last blue card out. But the free creature, are you talking about the Wanderer, Davo? Because there's no Wanderer in my hand anymore. All I have is wood carvers. It's just wood carvers all the way down. Two berries. Wow, all for the want of two berries. Dang it. Oh, wait a second. I see what you're saying. No, you're not saying that. I was like, wait, it's all coming now. Okay. Oh. So I think what I have to do now, at the end of all things, is just focus on building the one card that gets me the most points. I think that's all I can do. 2 points, 1 point, 2 points, 2 points. So it's either 2 points from here or from my hand. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Such low points earning cards. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So it doesn't matter. So of all these 2 point cards, what's the one that's going to get me the most love? I do have a purple building that gets me extra points for... no, I don't. No, I don't. I don't have any purple buildings that give me extra points for anything. I lie. I lie. I lie. Okay, so then... Oh, wait. But if I build the school, it gives me 1 point for each common critter in my city. If we look for common critters, I have unique. There's a common critter. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a common construction. So 4 extra points for building the school. That's not half bad. So let's do that then. But I don't have the stuff, but I do have the Judge. So instead of paying 2 twigs and 2 resin, I can pay 3 twigs and 1 resin, substituting. So here's my 3 twigs. Wait, I don't need the berries. Hold on. I'm going to listen closely to what DJ Mach V is saying. DJ Mach V... Oh, doesn't Clock Tower give us Torrent? Oh my god, you guys! That's what you're saying this entire time. I missed it completely. You must have been like shaking your monitors like, use the Clock Tower! I didn't know what you meant by use the Clock Tower. Of course use the Clock Tower. Look at this. Look, obviously. The Clock Tower likes the Historian, which means that I don't even need to come up with the berries to bring the clock. Oh, you've saved the day. I'll still lose. But you saved the day. Look at this. I can bring him in for free. Sorry to yell. It's funny. You're probably not, but I picture everybody at home just like running around screaming like, oh my god! It's not that exciting. It's just board games. But yes, the Clock Tower. It's like, you ever... When you were a kid, you probably weren't a kid when Dora the Explorer was on, but that kind of show where Dora's like, do you see the giant chicken on the skateboard? And it's like right here, and then like as 4-year-old, you're like, it's behind you, dummy. The giant chicken on the skateboard is right here, so the Historian goes in for free, and this goes on here, and we have to roll for Rugwort and give him something. Ba-doom. He takes number 5, which is the husband, so we'll put that up in his stack, up with his green cards. Shazam. And then a new card comes out, which I don't think will change things too much. No, it's a farm. Who cares? And with my very final lizard, I pick him up, and I go up to the top of the board to grab this special event, which will give me 6 points at the end of the game because I have 4 blue cards, and I commissioned the statues. Hooray! Hooray. Now, my big question, the one thing I don't know because I've never even considered it, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. Oh, and also, something triggers too when I build a Historian. Let me just see what that is. Gain a berry after you play a critter. Fine, I will. When you play a critter construction, I already did that. That's fine. Da-da-da-da-da. Doo-dee-dee, boop, doo-doo, boop, boop, boop. I think that's it. I think that's everything that fires off. Oh, no, it's exciting, Susanna says. It's exciting. It's exciting. It's okay. It's hardly sports, but it's exciting. By the way, if you're wondering why you see the Chrome in front of here, you see the chat over here, and you see the thing on the bottom, and I didn't do that for the past couple of plays, it's because I had a plan to take the footage, and I didn't want the Chrome in front messing it all up because I wanted to do like a really exciting action sports play-by-play kind of thing. And I talked to a few people about it, Rado included, and they're like, that's too much work. That's too much work. Why would you do that much work? It's too much work. I'm like, no, I just want to try it once. So I took the Tiny Epic Galaxies footage, or yeah, it was one of them. I took it into Premiere Pro, and I sat down and I started editing. It was the Tiny Epic Galaxies one. And I was just like a couple of hours in, I was like, yeah, this is too much work. This is entirely too much work. I'm not going to do it that way. So that's why now the Chrome is back. We can see chat. It's baked in forever in the replay. Right, here we go. The thrilling conclusion to year one Everdell. Pay a pebble, Ryan. Why would I pay a pebble, Mikey B? Why would I pay a pebble? Do I owe something a pebble? What have I done? What have I done that I need to pay a pebble for? Does something cost a pebble? What are you saying? What are you saying? What is this nonsense? Pay a pebble, he says. Pay a pebble? Pay a pebble. I know. For the event, thank you. You owe a pebble. Yes, you're absolutely right. The event that I just took costs me a pebble to do it. Not that it hurts very much because, yeah, like you guys are saying, look at all this stuff left over. And in any normal game, I'd never finished with that much stuff. I would have just been able to just build stuff like crazy from the meadow, but such garbage cards in the meadow this time out, and with my city completely full, there's nothing I can fit except for a wanderer. There's no wanderer out, there's no wanderer here, and there's no ruins in order to scrap anything. So I think that with that, I think that is everything. Speak now or forever hold your peace. But one more view at my board, 15 slots full, bunch of resources left over, all my guys taken up, nothing else to do. Correct? While you figure that out, I'm going to get the score pad ready, and we're going to do my worst nightmare, we're going to do some math on camera. Math on camera. Math on camera. Here we go. Okay. I didn't listen to Stacy about the low point cards. Omelet, man, if you were playing, what would you have done differently? Just let me know. One thing I'll tell you I would have done differently is right off the top of the game, this storehouse was up in the top left corner. I forgot that as soon as I transition into spring, he blocks whatever top left card there is. And this is a really good one to have out in front of you at the beginning. It's tough to get because it costs 3 resources, but I would have, yeah, you're just joking, yeah. Stacy, the ultimate armchair quarterback, which is fine. I'm glad that you're participating. That's great. And you had some great feedback and input. All right, so Ryan, and I'm a lefty, so you're gonna know the pain that is lefties, and make sure this is not transferring on the, it is. Look at this, this is what's coming up tomorrow. I'm gonna put together an organizer for Settlers of Catan, or Settlers as it's now called, and I'm gonna do that with a gaming trunk insert. So maybe you've seen me do inserts with that are from LaserOx. This is a different company entirely. And I also reveal one of the original covers of, or one of the earliest covers of Catan that Catan Studio might not want me to show you. So definitely tune in tomorrow. That's a canned video, not a live one, but join me for that. So Ryan's here and Rugwort is here. Okay, so cards. Rugwort gets 2 points per card, except for purple cards, which get him 3 points. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 39, 3, 6, 9, 39 for Rugwort's cards, 39. And then Ryan's cards, let's count it all up. 2, 3, 4, 5, I just count this as a bundle, even though it's like a purple thing. So 5 plus 7 is 12. Again, correct me on my math if I do anything wrong. 13, 14, I count those as part of the score on the card. 15, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So 26 points. So already very bad news for Ryan. 26 to 39 on cards. Prosperity cards. So I already counted Rugwort's points and he doesn't get any bonuses or anything weird in the cards, but I do. And so I already counted the prosperity on the wife. And don't I have one that gives me, no, I don't. That's it for all my prosperity cards. So I already counted it. So let's go back here. 0 for me and 0 for Rugwort. Great. What was the one, did I not build it, that gives me extra points for common critters? Oh, the school, but I never ended up building that. Great. The events. So here's how it works. I have 3 points, 6 points, 9 points, plus 6, 15 points for events. And Rugwort gets, up here at the top of the board, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I had any left over here at the top of the board, I wouldn't lose any points for these ones that I didn't get, but you do lose points for these ones that you don't get. Correct me if I'm wrong. So down here, it's 15 to 12 on events. On Journey, that's down here at the bottom of the board. Rugwort gets 3 points, and I didn't put anybody on Journey, although I was thinking about it. So Rugwort, 3 points, Ryan, 0. And then point tokens, Rugwort has this gigantic pile. No, just kidding. He doesn't have any points. And then over here on my board, I've got a couple. I've already counted these ones over here. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's some, but I don't think it's enough nearly to make up the gap. Point tokens. If you're good at math, maybe you already know how this is going to end up. Pearls is why do I always forget the name of the expansion? Pearlbrook expansion. It's right there in the name. Wonders is a Pearlbrook expansion thing. Adornments, same deal. So the total, doing math on camera, is 26 plus 15 is 41, 48 points for Ryan. 48. 39 plus 12 is 51, 54. 54 on easy mode. Easy mode. Ryan gets 48 points to Rugwort's 54. Making the grand running total of Ryan versus Board Games 3, Ryan 0. Great. Thank you. Thank you extremely super a lot for tuning in. I got a couple of graphics I can show you. If you're not yet a subscriber to the channel on YouTube, this is the button that makes you do that. This compels you. Yes, I think when you see this, there's a hypnotic effect and you must click subscribe. You are getting sleepy. But there's also a thumbs up. If you click either the thumbs up or the thumbs down, YouTube thinks that you're interacting with the video and engaging in a meaningful way. So click one of those buttons. And then the bell is the last one, and that will actually give you notifications. So when stuff like this happens, you'll get a little ping. That's cool. I mentioned before the Discord server. There's that address again if you want to jump in and talk to me or the crew who back me on Patreon, or the crew who don't back me on Patreon. Everybody's there, and we're yapping all the time. It's a wonderful, wonderful community. I love all the people there, and a bunch of them are in this very chat yelling at me about my terrible Everdell game. What else have we got? Yes, tomorrow, as I said, if you tune in, I'm going to be opening this here Gaming Trunk, and Gaming Trunk actually sent me a bunch of different inserts, and this is just the first one. DJ Mug V says shuffle better. Yes, I know. I was the victim of a bad shuffle. That's what it is, not bad gameplay. I did absolutely everything I could. One of the biggest criticisms about Everdell was like, I hated the game because I didn't get the cards I wanted. But I think that I defend it. I think that there are enough ways to sort of like, you know, weasel your way in and out. And that's why they added cards in the expansion, that the forest locations that do more to churn the meadow. But none of those were in this particular game, so it was really a stale, stagnant meadow, and it was really hard to get a foothold in anything. But pretty neat, pretty neat. And like I mentioned, there are 2 more years, there are 2 more difficulty levels to the Rugwort solo. And if you'd like to see me tackle any of those, please let me know. If you want to see me tackle any more games that are solo, the other suggestion that I've had is to do Merchants and Marauders, which sounds like an absolutely horrible ordeal, and I don't know if I would survive it, or if you would either, or if you even care or watch. But let me know if there's anything you want me to play. I would love to play it for you. If there's anything you'd like me to play with you, we can get into doing that as well. If you want to do a game of Welcome To, we can get that up for next week. Let me know. Just leave me a comment or tell me on Discord. Thank you so much for watching this one, and I will catch you in the very next episode. Did you just watch that whole thing? Oh, hey, to 100% this video, click the badge to subscribe, and then click the bell to get notifications when I've got new stuff.